Good day, everyone, from me, Andre Viljoen, bringing you this week's Gateway News, God's Stories of Africa, a look at some of the stories we published in Gateway News this week. South African moviegoers will be the first outside of North America to see Sound of Freedom, the record-breaking faith-based thriller movie about a former US government agent rescuing children from sex traffickers, when it releases at cinemas across the country on the 18th of August. Taking Hollywood by surprise, the independent movie shot to the top of the US charts when it was released on the 4th of July in North America. The film grabbed the top spot 3 more times, finishing at number 3 at the box office over the weekend and passing $125 million in gross earnings by Monday. Angel Studios, which released the surprise hit which held its own against Disney's Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny and Paramount's Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning, which respectively came out on the 30th of June and the 12th of July, announced on Wednesday that they are releasing Sound of Freedom in 23 more countries across 4 continents. South Africa is the only country in Africa on the release list. Cynthia Hlanguza, Operations and Acquisitions Manager of Gravel Road Distribution Group, which is distributing the movie in South Africa, told Gateway News that the film, based on a true story, has resulted in a massive groundswell movement in the awareness and in the fight against child trafficking. She said it's a little publicized fact that South Africa has been identified as one of Africa's top 2 countries where children are trafficked into, through, and from by these international syndicates. And it is for this reason that we are encouraging audiences to watch this film to create greater awareness that will hopefully be a catalyst for change, because God's children are not for sale. Still with entertainment news, internationally acclaimed Nigerian singer, songwriter and worship leader Sinach will be making her way to South Africa for a one-day only performance at Centre Court, Empress Palace, Johannesburg on Sunday the 27th of August. Best known for her hit songs Waymaker and I Know Who I Am, Sinach is Africa's most streamed and followed performer in her genre. The event starts at 3 p.m., doors open at 2 p.m. and tickets are available from Ticket Pro and selected SPAR outlets. Gateway News spoke with Nadine van der Wateren, who was recently selected as one of 30 finalists for the 2023 Mrs. South Africa pageant, which will take place in November. Nadine, a 47-year-old wife of 18 years, mother and career woman from Mildersdrift, Gauteng, says she believes God made a way for her to be selected in the pageant. She says her political science studies 25 years ago ignited a passion in her heart for Africa and South Africa. At that time, she dreamed of becoming a diplomatic political attaché with a seat at the table to add value. But when she fell pregnant in her final year of studies, her life was thrown into a different direction as a single mom. She did, however, complete her studies, but her career dream had turned into a hope-deferred situation. A few years later, she had a radical encounter with God through prophetic ministry, and her desire and love to hear God's word spoken through the prophetic grew. She believes that when the Spirit of God is unlocked in people's hearts, He utters the secrets of God's heart, and they feel seen and are empowered to turn away from the lies of the enemy and to change their lives and access hope. She says she wants to encourage people and impart the knowledge to them that there is no hopeless situation, only hope deferred, and that God has a solution. One of the ways she shares hope and godly solutions for South Africa is through her weekly podcast on Instagram called 10 Min with Hope, where she connects with people from different market sectors and shares solutions to problems they have received from God, and how their businesses and work environments have flourished as a result. A coup in the West African country Niger has put persecuted Christians in the 98% Muslim nation on high alert. World leaders and other organizations have denounced the ousting of the country's democratically elected leader, President Bazoum, by a military group. Global Christian Relief report: at the moment it is unclear who is in charge, and without the rule of law, jihadists and Muslim extremists may become emboldened. They call for prayer for Niger's tiny Christian community. Protecting women's sport came into focus at recent global events. Leaders at the International Consortium on Female Sport meeting in Denver, Colorado in the United States from the 21st to the 23rd of July called for everyone to be a force in the effort to protect women's sport for females athletes. The non-partisan, one-of-a-kind summit featured world-class athletes, globally renowned experts in science, academia, and law, governing sports bodies, and various advocacy groups who addressed sports-specific concerns surrounding participation by males who identify as females in women's athletics. Many female athletes, some of whom have already lost competitions, funding, and scholarships to men at women's events, spoke out about their experiences of feeling shock, shame, humiliation, and abandonment by sporting authorities who once championed women's sports. Meanwhile, the World Aquatics Congress, the body that governs competitive swimming globally, announced it is moving forward with plans to implement a separate category for trans-identified athletes to compete in, amid intense debate about the fairness of allowing trans-identified male athletes to compete in women's athletics. Speaking at the body's General Congress 2023 in Fukuoka, Japan on Tuesday, World Aquatics President Hussein Al-Musallam said their new policy seeks to protect fair competition for our female athletes. Al-Musallam's update comes a year after his organization, formerly known as the International Swimming Federation, revised its gender inclusivity policy to prohibit biological males who began taking steps to transition to female after the age of 12 from competing in women's swimming events. Several other international sports bodies, including the World Boxing Council, have implemented similar policies. In the United States, 22 states have enacted policies requiring athletes to compete on sports teams that correspond with their biological sex as opposed to their stated gender identity. Thank you for watching God's Stories of Africa. Please help us to reach more people and to grow this channel by subscribing, hitting the notification bell, and by sharing. We would also really love to hear your comments. God bless you abundantly until we meet again next week.